You're standing in a room full of people. Someone smiles at you and says, "Nice weather today, right?" And you smile back, but inside, something feels off. Not anger, not anxiety, just this quiet thought, why are we talking about this? And the strange part is, you don't hate people. You actually want connection, real connection. But somehow, these conversations never get there. So you stand there, nodding, responding, playing along, while your mind slowly disconnects. If that feels familiar, there's something important you need to understand. You're not bad at socializing. You're just not built for surface-level conversation. Most people assume that if you're quiet in conversations, something is wrong. Maybe you're awkward, maybe you're shy, maybe you don't know what to say, but that's not always true. Because the same person who struggles in small talk can talk for hours when the conversation actually matters. They open up, they become expressive, they ask thoughtful questions. So clearly, the issue isn't communication. The issue is what kind of communication. Small talk is like a script. Everyone already knows what to say, no one is really thinking, no one is really revealing anything real, and for some people, that feels empty, like eating food that fills your stomach, but gives you no energy. Small talk isn't just boring. For some people, it actually feels mentally exhausting because it requires something very specific. You have to pretend interest. You have to respond in expected ways. You have to act engaged, even when you're not. That creates a disconnect between what you feel and what you show. And that disconnect costs energy, a lot of it. That's why after a few minutes of small talk, you feel tired, even if nothing meaningful actually happened. It's not the conversation that drains you, it's the performance. Let's be honest for a second. Most small talk is not about truth, it's about being polite. How are you? I'm good, even when you're not. How was your weekend? Great, even if nothing special happened. You're not lying in a harmful way. You're just following a social pattern. But if you're someone who values honesty, this pattern starts to feel uncomfortable because your brain keeps noticing this isn't real. And the more aware you are of that, the harder it becomes to enjoy it. Here's the truth, most people don't say out loud. Some people don't want more conversations. They want better conversations. They want to understand people, what they think, what they feel, what shaped them. They want conversations that go somewhere, that reveal something, that change something. That's why when someone asks you a real question, something shifts. You don't feel drained anymore. You feel awake. You've probably experienced this. You're in a boring conversation. Then suddenly someone says something real, something unexpected, something honest, and instantly you're engaged. You lean in, you respond differently, you care. Because now the conversation has meaning, and meaning is what your brain was waiting for all along. Here's the problem. Other people don't see what's happening inside your head. They only see your behavior, and if you're quiet or not fully engaged, they assume you're not interested, you're unfriendly, you're arrogant. But they don't realize you're not disconnected from them. You're disconnected from the conversation itself. This is where it gets complicated. Because people like you often want deep relationships, but most relationships start with small talk. So you get stuck, you don't enjoy the entry point, but you want the destination. And that creates a gap, a frustrating one, because it's not that you can't connect, it's that the path to connection feels unnatural. So if you've ever felt like you don't belong in casual conversations, you get drained by surface level talk, you're misunderstood as rude or distant, then maybe the problem isn't your personality. Maybe it's just this. You're wired for depth in a world that often stays on the surface. So now the question is, what do you actually do with this? Do you force yourself to become someone who enjoys small talk, or do you reject it completely? The answer is neither. First, you need to understand something clearly. This is not a weakness, it's a preference. Some people connect through frequency, others connect through depth. You're the second type. And once you accept that, you stop trying to fix yourself. Here's the part most people miss. You don't have to love small talk, but you can use it. Think of it as a bridge, not the destination. A few simple responses, just enough to move forward, then gently shift. Instead of staying on the surface, you can guide the conversation deeper, not aggressively, naturally. Example, instead of, "How was your weekend?" you can follow with, what did you enjoy the most about it? Or what's something you've been thinking about lately? And small shift, big difference. Not everyone will match your style, and that's okay, but some people will, and when you find them, you'll feel it instantly. No forced energy, no pretending, no exhaustion, just real conversation. People who prefer deep conversations often have qualities like strong listening skills, emotional awareness, curiosity about people, meaningful communication. These aren't weaknesses, they're rare strengths. One of the biggest mistakes is trying to become someone you're not. Forcing energy, forcing interest, forcing conversation, that only makes things worse. Instead, be selective, be intentional, be real. Instead of saying, I'm bad at talking to people, I'd say, I prefer meaningful conversation. That one shift changes everything. So if small talk has always felt exhausting, maybe it's not because you're awkward. Maybe it's because you see through it. And once you understand that, you stop chasing every conversation and start choosing the ones that actually matter.